All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or depending on your time and your location. I'm Engineer Moses Unwafe. If you are watching this video, that is to say you have watched the second part of this topic, electrical safety. And I want you to understand that electrical safety is all about recognizing, controlling, preventing electrical hazard from everyone who work on electricity or an electrical system. There are prevention parts of electrical system. So for us to look at the prevention of electrical system, we have to consider the tip to reduce an electrical hazard. One of the tips to reduce electrical hazard is use of proper connection, use of correct cable couplers. Then the second is use of competent technicians. We have to ensure that a proper trained electrical personnel is used to perform an intervention. Secondly, we have to watch out for warning signs. Warning signs have to be placed on equipment that have been de-energized, on equipment that are faulty, on equipment that are generating some element of hot plugs or a burning smell. Then, secondly, avoiding the partial contact. So one of the tips is to avoid the partial contact. A poor termination can create a local hotspot, which can result to what? Arc splash. Then, the other tip of reducing this electrical hazard is tag faulty equipment. We have to tag the faulty equipment. We have to switch it off. We have to tag and label out of use to avoid another person energizing it for use. Then, reducing an electrical hazard is also to ensure that ROCD or ELCB protection are installed in any portable tools to avoid electrocution. Then we also have to maintain correct polarity. Correct polarity during installation have to be maintained. Then we follow the test plan of every electrical appliances. For us to also consider the preventive part, there is a need for us to understand the risk that are associated with an electrical current. That is why we are looking at the effect of electric current on human body. And if you look at the effect of electric current on the human body, comes in different current level. Then when we have a current of 1 milliamps in the human body, typical effect of it is that it will lead to a threshold of perception or a slight triggering sensation will be noticed. Then when it is up to 10 to 16 milliamps, it is a let go threshold, which will result to muscular contraction, preventing release of grip. Then, lastly, if it is up to 20 milliamps, you have to experience painful shock, possible paralysis of the chest or muscle affecting breathing. Then when it's up to 100 milliamps, that becomes highly risky, which is a risk of ventricular fibrillation, which is a life-threatening heart rhythm. When it's up to 2 amps and above, it is a final one, which is a cardiac standstill, severe internal organs and tissue damage. Remember that a electric current on human body determined by the what? The part with which the electric flows through your body, the body size of that person, and the age difference of what? That person. In subsequent time, we'll go in detail of this for us to break it down. Now, in considering this electrical safety, there is a need for us to consider emergency response. Among this emergency response, we are going to consider first aid emergency response for electric shock. In first aid emergency response for electric shock, we have to follow the step. One of the steps is to make the area safe. How do we make the area safe? By switching off the power source, never touch the casualty while still in a contact with live equipment. Then secondly, we have to remove from the contact. If possible, you can isolate, use a non-conductor object or dry stick or rescue stick, which is preferably to separate the casualty from the contact. Then we look at call for help. We have to call the emergency number, activate ESD, site management response immediately. Then, fourthly, we follow and check airway of a breathing and open the airway. Place a patient on what? On a recovery position. And at the same time, you have to start CPRO if needed. If CPRO is needed and it's not responding, it's not breathing properly, you conduct a CPRO. You conduct CPRO immediately, which is equivalent to 30 chest compression and 2 rescue breaths. The last but not least is to continue continue the CPRO until a relief comes, maybe a medical practitioner or someone that is licensed to do better, maybe probably the rescue team from the hospital. And I want us to look at this electrical safety in the angle of protection. In the angle of protection, we are going to look at protection against electrical shock. And this protection against electrical shock is very important. But before we can consider that, we have to also know that direct electrical shock happen to personnel, either direct or an indirect contact. The personnel come in contact with live conductor for electric shock to occur. And this can be happen in 2 ways. And one of the ways is a direct contact, and another is an indirect contact. So for direct contact is touching a live part of an electrical equipment that is intended to carry what? Current. Then the indirect contact is touching a contact of an electrical parts that become live due to fault, such as damaged cable or failed insulation. But for us to consider this very well, we should know that there are methods of protection. So what are these methods of protection from all these direct and indirect contacts? The method of protection is insulation of the live part. Then a barrier enclosure. So if you are using an enclosure for installation, you have to consider the enclosure is what? IP2S. Then a residual current device, which is RCD, should be installed in every input to what? A supply to residential or to any supply unit of tools that are handled by personnel. Then current protective device. Current protective device is also a means to what? To a method of protection. Then the earthing and bonding, also a method of protection to avoid electrocution. Then the approved tools and PPE must be mandatory anytime we are performing an intervention on any electrical device or equipment. Apart from that, in considering electrical safety with regard to protection, we have to also note that earthing and lightning protection are very important. Then a protective earthing is connecting of exposed conductor part to earth, giving a fault current, a low impedance part to the tree protection quickly. Therefore, a functional earthing is setting system point. For example, we have it a transformer neutral, which are earthed to ensure what? Current stable operation. Then we talk about the earthing conductor. This earthing conductor is a main terminal of metallic enclosure to plant and earth in a grid. So therefore, we have to consider this as what? As a protection with regards to what? Electrical safety. And we're looking at the lightning strike. A lightning strike is a powerful, sudden electrostatic discharge from charge built up in a storm or a cloud. So these steel structures are more exposed. So therefore, there are ways we can mitigate that. Lightning protection system. We mitigate it by lightning protection system by intercepting lightning current or conduct safely to earth, to conduct lightning current directly to earth. Another way we can protect it is a design consideration. The protective level is set based on the cost of protection from injury, risk, and the probability of severity. I want you to know that every equipment has a class, especially a portable equipment, just like a portable tools, extension, and etc. They all have a class, and this class are sectioned into 3 places. We have the class 1, which the protection method of class 1 is just a single installation earth connection, and it requires an earthing protection with 30 milliamps ROCD or ELCB. Then when we talk about the class 2, is a double or reinforced insulation of often known as glass casing. Then when we talk about class 3, a class 3 is supplied from a separate extra low voltage, which is called as SELV source, and it required an inherently low shock risk. No earthing is required. That is for 3rd class of a portable equipment. I want you to watch out for the 4th section of this electrical safety to ensure proper understanding of it. Thank you.